you have a dream of being with a partner who doesn't go out clubbing or talking to the opposite sex, or they don't do a certain thing such as smoke, or you would like to feel this sense of security, but all you get is the opposite. You see that this person you are romantically interested does everything against the grain that you stand for. And when you try to fix it, you feel helpless. You feel that they are just trying to rub you the wrong way deliberately at this point. And even if you share a scripture with them, that they're just going to rub it in your face and laugh at you. And you feel like giving up, not talking to that person ever again, and really wishing that things would be different, that you could find someone who's on the same page as you, until the day you do, and then there's something off about them too. Like many of my videos, in this video, I'm just going to be raw with you. Like, I'm not scripting anything that I say for the most part. I don't really take down a lot of notes. I just say stuff. And the thing I want to say here is that the reason the people that you are romantically interested in and you feel like you have no control over, the reason they act the way they do is obviously, yes, they grew up in a completely different household other than you. But the reason they do certain things that you may feel as though you disapprove of is because deep down, that person whom you may be romantically interested in is hurting inside. The reason women might go clubbing, for example, isn't necessarily just because they want to feel good. It's also because deep down, they don't really feel valued. I'm not saying this is a blanket statement for everyone, but the person you may be romantically interested in may be doing something like that because deep down, they don't really value themselves. They have promiscuous and destructive relationships with other men because she herself feels unvalued, and she tries to get this validation from external sources who don't really give it to her in the way she kind of imagines. She smokes or she vapes because deep down that's just a coping mechanism. She's hurting inside. Maybe you were already in a relationship with this person and you were good at first and then they go stone cold turkey on you and they don't really reply back to you anymore. Maybe they kind of treat you horribly. And the reason she might do this is because deep down she actually feels, first of all, threatened, but she also feels unworthy. Really, how could you love someone as unworthy as themselves? There must be something wrong with you, right? It's so easy to fall for the surface level YouTube content, which will generally tell you to be stoic, or firm, put your foot down, be fixed in your approach. But no one really ever tells you to be empathetic, I don't think. No one really tries to put you in a trajectory where you actually have to go through the absolute hard stuff, where you just kind of put up with shit, but not because you're running out of energy, but because you can take it like no one else can. If you were smart, you would be able to ask and dig deep as to why your romantic interest might be doing certain toxic things. What is really causing their behavior to be brought about? Specifically, what are you doing that makes them feel like that they can't open up to you about very deep and painful things? Sometimes just reflecting on a single decision can take weeks, months, a long time to just wrap your head around sometimes. And that's very energy consuming. And when you're draining yourself in energy, you will do certain things that it's all you know to do. You will resort to overeating. They will resort to smoking. They will resort to vaping. They will resort to promiscuous sex. They will resort to, clubbing. They'll resort to whatever feels right. I call this romanticized escapism. And this is where you fall in love with your own suffering. Because even if you were given, the cure, even if you were given the thing that you need, a lot of the time we will actually reject that, even if it's convenient, because we are more comfortable in our own suffering. We are more familiar in our own suffering. This is why it's a really bad idea if you're a dude and you have fallen in love with some, a prostitute, for example, and you think you can save her, you think you can rescue her, you want to be Captain Save-A-Ho. And the reason that's a bad idea is because, let's say you are successful, which I have seen some posts every once in a while, where the woman will actually reconsider entering into the trade of prostitution. And it's because that's all she knows to do. It's what she's familiar with. It's the world that she understands. And, if she was to bring this up to her spouse, probably he's not going to feel very good about it unless he's a pimp who makes a lot of cash out of it. So I guess you could say, in a sense, he has failed because he was not able to successfully prevent her from desiring that, to prevent her from wanting to pursue that, even if they're married. And so what do you do then? And unfortunately, if you're the guy, there's not really anything that you can do, except maybe dig deep, be empathetic, understand where she's coming from, and actually let her be. Let her choose to go that route. Now, this is what it means to be not toxic in return for toxic behavior, because this is where a lot of people get shit wrong, is when you hear something that appears toxic or you feel something's off, your approach is generally just as bad, if not worse, than the toxic thing that you were afraid of in the first place. If you get angry, suspicious, controlling about the information that's presented to you, first of all, it's going to make your partner feel absolutely terrible, and it's going to suppress that emotion and feeling, and they're going to keep on doing that thing that they desire in secret without your knowledge, and by the time you discover it, it's going to make you feel even worse, and there's going to be this cycle where you keep on punishing your partner for keeping secrets instead of rewarding them for telling you the information that you needed to know. Deep down, I think, if it was a woman, right, she would want to feel that she matters. She would want to feel that she is good enough. She'd want to feel that she's wanted. Because if she doesn't feel these things, then how can she possibly want to be in a relationship with you? And prostitution actually, that type of area, that the more that kind of stuff happens, the more, yes, this woman is going to be in a much more chaotic realm. You've seen the clips from At Whatever, where a lot of the time, the women on that show will present very outrageous claims. And here's the thing as well. Sometimes it's not exactly even their own fault. I mean, if I was in their shoes, I'd take full accountability and say, yeah, you know what, it's all my fault. But there is the system that is leading these women to believe that certain actions are empowering. Prostitution is empowering. OnlyFans is empowering. Things like that. Being promiscuous and degenerate is empowering somehow. When really, it's actually robbing women from their power to actually take accountability. That's what it actually does. The messaging that they hear on a daily basis, especially coming from the internet, especially coming from other women who try to pull them down like crabs in a bucket, trying to collectively think instead of individually think, it's not exactly their fault that they fall for it because they don't really know any other way. And I guess you could say for stoic men or men who don't really know what to do, sometimes you don't really mean to push your partner away or to be a jerk or misunderstanding. You probably don't really mean to come across that way a lot of the time. But the reason you might come across as controlling and abrupt and, sort of a jerk half the time is probably because you don't really know any other way. And it is because the system likes to prevent proper education, proper appropriate approaches to interacting with the opposite sex. In the school system, it's all about respecting LGBTQ. And I'm afraid to say a lot of those people don't really know what their own binary pronouns are these days. It's like this fluid thing that they don't even really know what it is themselves. And then you have these so-called professors who try to separate gender from sex and demonize traditional male and female role models. The female human body is actually becoming more demonized. In video games and movies, you're seeing the removal of masculine figures. You're seeing the removal of feminine figures and the hatred towards especially feminine figures because there's this push for a grey unification. So anyway, put yourself in your partner's shoes. Reflect on why you yourself pull back, why you shut down, why you engage in toxic behaviors yourself. The reason you do these things and the reason your partner does these things or your romantic interest does these things is because it's a form of romanticized escapism. They're suffering and they're in love with their own suffering.